Hi everyone. I am Aaron A. Palileo. That's my nickname. I'm here in Manila, joining you at 2:15 a.m. over here. Also, my wife just turned 40 something, so it's her birthday too. Um, I am a creativity and brand teacher here and also in Tokyo. And I'm here to talk about Covinnovate, from COVID-19 to Innovation 2021. So this will be two things. I'll try to do two things. One is to report some of the things I found that was innovative throughout the pandemic. But aside from it being a reportorial type of thing, I want to try to impart an easy to follow framework that hopefully you guys can practice on your own or share with your clients or your students. I work with a lot of entrepreneurs and innovators, and from what I've seen over the last decade or so, innovators and entrepreneurs are serial opportunity seekers. They're not passive. They don't wait for the opportunity to come up. They spot opportunities. To my mind, an opportunity has two components. It has to have an objective, a creative objective, an innovation objective, but also a great opportunity already has an idea there. Think about it. Objective could be, I need to connect with a certain kind of person. It begs the question, how, right? Or if you start with an idea, I want to create an app that will connect so and so together, then the question is, what for? So only when you have an objective and an idea, put those together, then you have an opportunity, which you can screen, you can incubate, you can test, and then finally implement. So that's how I would frame these Covinnovation examples all over the world. So the first part is finding objectives. We all know as innovators, as creative problem solvers, that we need to find innovation objectives, that we need to frame, we need to spot objectives. We usually start with irritants. We usually start with pain points. I usually ask people what they find mad. A lot of market research asks people what they're looking for. But what I realize is when you ask people what they like, we answer that question in a very logical, very short and sweet way. But compare that to asking people what they don't like. People are more specific, more emotional, and more detailed. Try it with your significant others later. Ask one question first. What do you like about me? I tell you, the answer will be short and sweet. You're okay, you're fine, you're good enough. But ask them, what don't you like about me? Prepare for an epic soliloquy. You know, on March 2, 2002, you didn't do this. Da, 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 da. We are more emotional when we complain. So ask them these three questions. First, what do you find missing? Something that they wanted, something that they wish that a product or a service had, but it's not being done by anyone, whether it's you or your other the other organizations in the industry. So I wish you did this. That's one irritant. The second irritant is annoying. Annoying is, why do you do that? If missing is something they want, but it's not there, annoying is it's there, but they don't want it. The third irritant would be disappointments. Disappointments are great ideas, but rendered terribly. It's an unfulfilled promise. So missing, annoying, disappointing. These three things will allow you to find innovation objectives. Give you some examples of this. Obviously, the new normal nowadays would be PPEs, face masks, face shields, and all these things. The new normal, suddenly, these used to be innovations for COVID, but now they are irritating as well. So some irritants would be, you're a frontliner, you're wearing face masks and face shields, what's missing? Your personality, your identity. So innovation objective could be, in what ways might PPEs show a person's personality? Annoying, those damn ear loops. If you're wearing a face mask for hours on end, that ear loop is digging into your ear, digging onto your face. So objective, how might we protect the faces of people wearing masks? Disappointing, as said, it's there, good idea, but rendered terribly. If you're wearing a face shield and you're a server, you're a wait staff, you're a stylist, Whenever you adjust that face shield, you end up touching your face, thereby compromising your safety, right? So innovation objective, how might we comfortably protect the face without having to touch the face? All these innovation objectives, you can already generate ideas, but some specific ideas as examples, you have Stoggles, for instance, that married eyeglasses with face shields. It's basically nice, fashionable eyewear that protects you from airborne particles. Annoying, oh, look at this kid, this Boy Scout with his 3D printer created these ear attachments or these face attachments to make it easier for you to wear a face mask. Or Z Shield, suddenly the face shield is hanging on your neck. So you don't have to touch your face, you can easily pull it down or pull it up. 3 ideas that are of innovations. So how to spot innovation objectives, ask people what they find missing, annoying, and disappointing. We all know if we have a great objective, sometimes the idea is so obvious already. And we know the saying, Einstein said that if he had time, he would spend at least 55 minutes of an hour figuring out that problem. But still, sometimes we need to ideate. I'm sure you guys know a lot of ideation techniques, but let me just offer a simple to follow framework, and I call it how to idea. The first is invert. Our worlds have turned upside down because of the pandemic, but that's one easy to follow ideation technique. Look at your product, your service, your customer, figure out the polar opposite, the diagonal opposite. There might be an idea there. This app, Zenly, used to monitor where your friends are on a Friday night. You want to find out who's hanging out where, who's at a club, who's at a bar, who you can meet up with. And that's what it was for. But because of the pandemic, they did the opposite. Now they're telling you which of your friends are actually staying home, which of your friends are being safe and not going out. Well, a lot of companies have embraced the polar opposites. You have Mattel creating ways for you to have indoor camping trips, not outdoor anymore. One of my favorites, it's so simple, the idea, from time out, time in. But they're still allowing you to discover all of these great events that you can do, but now online. Thai Airways, what are they giving? They're giving you travel miles if you do certain activities at home. All of these things have inverted their common traditional stuff. So that's invert. The second ideation technique, discover. Mentally leave your work. I want to emphasize this. I told this in one company. I said to the people, leave your world behind. And then the HR person said, are you telling my people to quit? No, mentally leave your industry behind and then venture into a totally unrelated world. An idea might be there. There's this father of a newborn baby in China, and he wanted to take his baby outdoors to bond with his kid, obviously difficult during the pandemic. Now, he is a big video game fan, particularly this game called Death Stranding. In this video game, as you can see, part of the whole gaming experience is you're carrying this baby in a portable incubator. So he discovered that idea in this sci-fi game and actually created his own portable baby pod that he actually created and was able to bring out onto the real world. Again, from a video game, super highfalutin, super out there, weird as weird can be, into an actual innovation for baby care. This guy who wanted to create a line of dividers for the office discovered his idea from these old school playplax stuff, right? So something that's current, modern video game, to discovering from your past toys and all of that, great ideas are there. I'm sure the whole year we've played video games, we've watched Netflix and Hulu galore. Allow those video games and those movies to conjure ideas for you to co-innovate. That's D. E is eliminate. we have been obsessed with eliminating the need to touch that doorknob, right? So a lot of people have created ideas related to that, whether it's the hygiene hook at the upper right or step and pull down in the lower right. Eliminate the need to touch the door. Well, this company in Australia, Skaggs, creates big stages for music fests and concerts, obviously obsolete today. So what did they eliminate? Well, they eliminated that component of their business, and then they were forced to ask, what do we do well? Well, now they create work from home furniture solutions. It's a different kind of stage that they are creating. Let's eliminate. Finally, A is amplify. What can you exaggerate? What can you magnify? Maybe it's a latent skill. Maybe it's a product that was not selling before, but is much, much more needed now. We're all using delivery services for food, etc. Definitely, we like the service itself, but what gets boring? The delivery people. So this company said, hey, as we all know, we need to make things exciting. So this strip club, what they did, they created Uber Eats. What did they amplify? Well, instead of regular drivers, now it's strippers delivering your food. And I see some people smiling and nodding in agreement. Hotels have amplified what? The work from hotel, the furniture for office work, thereby minimizing. As you amplify, you have to minimize certain things. You minimize the fact that they will stay there overnight. So you have hotels all over the world that have reconfigured their rooms just for offices. You see this home office divider company that amplified the greenery in their office dividers to make their office dividers even more healthy. So that's amplify. Now, I just want to end with a personal example here from the Philippines that marries both finding objectives and ideating. So last year, our government created a COVID relief package to the tune of $5.7 billion. Not so big, considering that's just $270 per person. Definitely not big, but still useful. The problem was there were so many problems in terms of delivery, in terms of disbursement, and all of these things. In other words, there were so many missing, annoying, and disappointing things in that COVID relief packages. Innovation objectives emerged, such as in what ways might we help people with their basic needs? How might we augment the government relief package? And maybe, how might we inspire people to share what they have? Enter this lady named Patricia Non. So on one April day, he walks into a street nearby her home, puts up this really rickety shelf, puts some food, some basic amenities, and calls it the community pantry, and says that, hey, take only what you need for those who need to take, but for those who can share, give as much as you can. What happened next was people started lining up, both the people who need and also the people who had stuff to give. Soon, literature and ads came out telling people how to create their own community pantries. Now, even the poor fishermen, even the poor farmers started their community pantries too. Soon, lawyers and map makers started helping. Now we have a community pantry app finder. Now there's a community pantry for reproductive health products, and for dogs, and for toys, and for books. Even in my own university where I teach, we have a community pantry for the custodian, the guards, etc. As of today, there are almost 900 community pantries all over the Philippines in less than 47, 48 days. In other words, that lady has inverted, discovered, eliminated, and amplified. And that's how you co-innovate. I created a worksheet that will allow you to apply some of these techniques onto your own practices. And again, just to wrap up, well, if you want, screen grab it. You can download that worksheet there. But just to wrap up, how do you co-innovate? Ask people what is missing, annoying, disappointing that allows you to find innovation objectives. Then invert, discover, eliminate, and amplify. In other words, to co-innovate, you need mad ideas.
Oh, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Aaron. Thank you. If you can hang around at the end for any question and answer, but
Sure.
I would like to now turn from the what to the so what with the amazing Sari Gluckin, coming to us from Chicago area.
All right. Hello, hello, and welcome everyone. We are now going to be playing with a very simple concept called sticky intentions. And I am going to share my screen. Can everybody see this big blue screen? Okay, great. So here we are on sticky intentions. And if you haven't already, I encourage you to think about what is hanging out in your space. We're looking for small objects, maybe 3, 4, 5, that are ordinary or bizarre or intriguing, and just gather them quickly. Make sure you have a sticky note or two. It can be any neon variety and something to write with. And I recommend a blank sheet of paper. And while you're finding that, I will ask the essential question, which is, what is an intention? All right. So if you had to explain an intention to an 8-year-old, how might you describe an intention? Literally think 3rd grade. How might you explain an intention? So Deborah, thank you. Something you basically mean to do. Anybody else? Something you want to do. Absolutely. Something you plan to do. This seems very related to accountability and hugs. Absolutely. So that is something that is an intention. And I will give you just something that you've set your mind to. In grade school, we always prayed for special intentions. That's lovely. So now I am going to share a definition that I happened to Google just the other day. This isn't really living in my mind. I rely on Google for everything. So an intention is essentially a guiding principle for how you want to show up. So it's something that should really speak to you, inspire you, resonate with you, be you and yours own special language. And what we want to think about today is how you'd like to show up at CPSI this next 2 weeks and even beyond. So how many people have got their objects? Is everybody pretty good? They've got some stuff. All right. So if you've got your stuff, I'd like you to peruse your objects and choose 3 that you are most drawn to. For some reason, they're just provocative. They speak to you in a special way. So you're just going to choose 3. And at this point, I am going to stop sharing because I would love everyone to show their stuff. So if you've got an object or 2, just hold it up to the camera. We're going to get a screenshot of all these bizarre and wonderful things. All right, everybody ready? Ready to smile? Some wonderful wing, I hope, is taking this picture. Fabulous. And just playing off of these objects. If somebody's holding something, let's say fern, how might one of your objects be related to a personal intention? Can you riff on one of them and share? Unmute yourself and share.
Okay, well, this one here is a shell. It's a turbo marmoratus. It's got a carving of a dolphin in it. And one of the things that I'm looking at doing is a little bit more on sustainable development and environmental and social things.
Okay, great. And I'm going to call on somebody else. And if you don't want to be called, just be like, no, no, no. And I really will honor that. So Judy, what have you got? Can you unmute yourself and sort of riff off of your objet?
Yeah, my objet is a Walgreens professional lens cleaner.
Okay.
And my intention is to, see a little more clearly.
Awesome. Absolutely. See a little more clearly. And Lisa, my friend from LA, what about you? Unless you're a no, no, no. Would you
No,
like to
that's
share?
okay. I just grabbed, this is my fan control. I'm in Miami right now and it's really hot. So this is my fan. So this is to keep a breeze in me and keep refreshing my ideas.
All right. So you guys get the idea. You're being absolutely super sticky already. So I'm going to go back to my slides and I'll tell you what we're going to do next. So on your paper, this is just because you're going to be writing on your paper. I'd like you to arrange your three objects, okay? And do it in a way that might reflect the way you'd like to show up at CPSI. I know this sounds a little bizarre, but if it does, you might just say to yourself, what's an arrangement that is just pleasing for me to behold? Okay, so take a minute or two and just arrange your objet. While you do that, I'll play a little music. Anybody need more time? If you do, hold up your hand. We're all good? Okay. Thumbs up for all good. Okay, so wonderful. And then let's see what happens next. So this is a little prototype I did the other day based on, I think, something Beth had found me about 4 years ago when I asked her to collect junk for 5 months for a similar workshop. I've got an air plant. I've got like a little pill vial. And what I'd like you to do is arrange this stuff. You've already done that, but then grab your pen and start to just freely associate and write a bunch of words around these things that basically are how you feel, their words, their emotions. Ask yourself, what are some things that these little bizarre objets evoke? Okay, so spend a minute or two doing that. And I'd also recommend if there are certain words or phrases that really speak to you, that kind of say, I might be your guide, circle those. And believe me, nothing has to be taken too seriously here. This is all one big major riff. So you see, I circled oxygen, reaching, receptive and open, but you get the idea. So circle the words that speak to you. So the cue when you're done is heads up. Heads up, shoulders back. And if your head is down, we're going to give you more time. All right, wonderful. So now what I invite you to do next is to basically write your sticky intention. So we want to make sure it's sticky. So therefore, I would recommend a Post-it note, the ultimate sticky tool, and take a look at all of those words and ideas and associations. You don't have to use them literally. You can basically expand and have them grow. And for me, I never like to land on one intention because I'm so indecisive. So I actually wrote a couple. So I invite you to write one or two, whatever works for you, and then think about the sticky intention that speaks to you the most. So I'll give you a few more minutes to do that. Any questions? Everyone good? Okay. And if you've got a sticky intention, maybe just wave it so we all know. All right, all these Post-its. So could we get another screenshot of these sticky intentions flapping in the wind? Awesome, wonderful, cool. So you know what happens next, right? Deb, what's going to happen next?
You're going to ask somebody to share one.
I am. And would you be willing? And if really anybody who wants to share, let's say you do a thumbs up in the, what is it called? The reaction button. I should remember that. But Deb, would you be willing?
Of course I will.
Put it straight up to the camera. That'll
you just want the end product, right? Just the intention itself?
Yeah, intention itself.
Okay, so the intention is I'd like to soothe people for their SIPSI visit, play with them, and give them pocket-sized ideas for managing change.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. All right, twist and shout. Okay, who else? I feel like I saw another hand up. Anybody else willing to share? Joette, yeah, you want to tell us? And Brian, I'll get back to you next.
Sure. I had a little beeswax candle, and my sticky intention is working in this rich community, SIPSI community, together to a sweet end product.
Lovely. Thank you. And Brian?
Yeah, something that I always have to remind myself to do at SIPSI is to always try new things, like, no matter how silly they are. Then I always come back to it a year later or 2 years later, like, oh, when I did that, that was amazing. I'm glad I did that. So it may seem silly in the moment, or you're worried about how other people are going to think about you. Don't worry about it.
Right, absolutely.
All for you.
Anyone else who's got a sticky intention to share? Just just share. No reaction necessary. Anybody else?
I have one. My mask is always near me, so I intend to really take my mask off for this conference to
Nice.
be here.
Okay, that's lovely. So I think maybe our 15-minute time might be close to up. I am not sure. I just want to thank you all. For me, it was inhaling, gasping for breath, getting those new ideas in my system to inspire myself and others. So because this is sticky, you guys have the ability to pin it anywhere you want in your environment, whether it's like on top of your laptop, on the ceiling, in the bathroom, in the kitchen. So please make it stick. And I just want to say, with tons of gratitude, enjoy the conference, be in the front row, and it's been a pleasure. Bye.
Thank you so much, Sari. I love you so much. We're so set for a great conference, but there's still more exciting stuff. Now I'd like to welcome Paul Skaggs, or as he's on here, Paul, Utah. I love having everybody's location. It's so fantastic. So Paul, here you go. Take the stage. Oh, you need to unmute.
Yes, I do need to unmute. I liked what Brian said about trying new things. I'm gonna do a little experimenting here. The topic that I'm gonna share is sketchnoting, and I hope all of you have a pen and paper, because we're gonna do it real time. So I'm gonna switch my camera here.
We are about to get super fancy, aren't we?
No, I don't think so. So here I am. I am going to do some sketchnoting as we go, and you guys can just follow along. So the topic is regrowing a latent skill. You know, as we grow up, I think we lose a couple skills that we're always trying to get back when we come to CPSI. We lose curiosity, we lose play, and we lose drawing. Drawing is a natural thing all kids do. And so, so that's the title. And here's an image here. This the only reason I show this is because my grandson drew it, and I told him I would show it in my conference to make him feel like, wow, he's an international drawing star. But here's what I want to start with. So if everybody's got a piece of paper and a pen, we're going to just work together here. And I'm going to talk about three learning modalities. So the first thing I'm going to do is draw an eyeball here. And you can make it as simple as you want. I'm going to draw an ear. And again, make it as simple as you want. And over here, I know this is a little tough, but I'm going to draw a hand, but I'm going to make it simple. And this is visual. This is auditory, audible. And this is kinesthetic. So these three learning modalities are how we receive, store, process information. We use all three, but sometimes we have dominant ones. But what research tells us is if I can combine these three together, my retention of information is 6 times greater. Okay. Oh, yeah, greater. So that's what research says. And what's happening is, I'm going to talk about this. Here's a brain, and I'm going to put these little, it's kind of shaped like this, but then it has these little. And so when somebody talks, here's my mouth here. My brain hears it. And what it's going to do is then use visual information to make a sketch. Here's my drawing instrument. And here's the image that I drew. It's this box. And then what happens is my eye evaluates that image and goes back to the brain. And the brain's going to maybe do a few loops until it kicks out when it's done. So if I hear information, I sketch something, it looks like this, my eye evaluates it and says, yeah, that's maybe not good enough, try again, or it says that's good enough, move out. And so the purpose of sketchnoting, I would say there's some stars here. Comprehension. So better comprehension. Memory or retention. Improved listening. And it's just fun. I hope you're having fun. Is everybody keeping up? So here's what the research says. If I take handwritten notes, that's better than typing on a computer because it's involving the audio and the kinesthetic. And so, plus it involves your listening skills because you're not as fast, so you have to process the information. You think about it and only pick out important things to record, and that can be valuable. The second thing is that I might just, while I'm listening, do something abstract like this. And you can Google doodling online. They'll talk about how people, when they are processing information, just do random images. And that allows you to hear and process better just because it's activating your kinesthetic learning modality. The best is when I can actually draw images. So here's my box again. So each level kind of improves what you're talking about. Now here's a couple samples. This is a TED Talk by Tony Fadell. He's a designer. That's kind of where I'm coming from. And Tony Fadell then talks about a number of things. Of course, it's a TED Talk, so it's 28 minutes long. But this is the information that I gathered from him in his TED Talk. And he talked about the annoying little stickers on fruit and says, who's that for? Well, it's obviously not for the consumer because it's annoying. It's actually for the people who produce it. So he talked about noticing is the secret to design, paying attention. And here's 3 things that he listed: look broader, look closer, think younger. And he tells a story that his grandfather told him about the right screw for the right job. And so he talked a little bit about his process coming up with the Nest thermostat. And here's the old Honeywell. Here's the complicated newer version. And here we're back to simplicity. So that's his whole talk, sketch noted. And here's another one. But the idea is to add with your writing images. And what I would say is I'm gonna sketch this. It's not about art. The reason as you were growing up that you stopped drawing, stopped using this, this great language, this great learning modality, is because there started to be feedback and critique. And you stopped drawing because you're afraid of what people would think. But we don't really care. We're not trying to create art. It's ideas that we're interested in. There we go. And I'm going to put this on a background, and I'm going to put it on a sign. To remember, I'm posting this. This is what I want to say. It's not about art, it's about ideas. So here's what I would say is what allows us to retain better is that we are listening more carefully, because again, sketching slows us down. So I'll go through this really quick, but here's the Tony Fadell. Blah, 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 blah. He said a lot of stuff, but I'm funneling it down to say what's the most important blah. And I draw that to remind me. It's a screw. And so I'm organizing, simplifying, and clarifying the information. A picture's worth 1,000 words. So if I can add pictures in, I can capture more data. If you've seen what I've done so far, I'm going to go back after this and maybe add some detail to this. It's an opportunity to review. So when you're sketchnoting, don't get sucked into the drawing. Take too long. You can finish later. So when you go back and complete, color, shade, do that as a review. Capture your most basic ideas. And what I would say is, well, I'm going to move a little faster here, but simple shapes to build into simple objects. Here's what somebody said is, if you can draw these elements, you can draw anything. Text. You want basic text and you want headlines. I've shown a number of them here, but I think you want to keep it simple when you start. Have a headline and have a basic text. And then you can emphasize things by size, color, bold, light, highlight, reverse, expand, condense, mix styles, short, tall, and practice that. And so I've blown it here by showing this, but I'll share this with you. If I do this, what's that?
Tree.
Tree.
So it's a tree. That's
Tree.
easy. I've captured the idea. But let's say it's specific. It's an oak tree. Now what do I do? Well, it's easy. Now it's an oak tree. And that could be maple. It could be anything. So you sketch to capture the main idea. Then you may have to annotate to add information to it. Here's an important thing is containers. And these just contain information. They sometimes called nodes. And, you know, I have about 3 that I use, but here's a bunch of different ones. And, but I want to share with you now just a technique to help you in your sketchnoting. And I want to teach you how to draw a straight line. Are you ready? So typically when I draw a line, I'm going to do this. So that's pretty straight, but I've practiced before. The problem most people have is when they put their pen on the paper, they watch the end of the pen as it moves. And so if you want to draw a straight line, start with 2 points. Put your pen on this point, but look at this point and drive to that goal. So I'm putting my pen here, but I'm looking there. So that one wasn't that great, but you can see the idea. And so I say I'm teaching you how to draw a straight line, but what I want to teach you is how to not look at your pen point. If I'm drawing a straight line, what I want to be looking at is the edges of the paper. So my straight line is not going like that, but it's following that edge. And if I'm drawing a circle, I want to look at the end where I'm coming back around to connect. Don't look at your end point. This takes practice. Look at where you're going. Look at the peripheral. Okay. Beth, how much time do we have?
I think we're 5 minutes over.
Okay. Then I will. I'll do a very short summary here. But I'm going to say here's some of the things you want to practice is connectors. Here's bullets and icons. I use these icons when I take notes because if somebody says, here's a good book, I use the book icon. Or if there's something that I don't understand, I'll put this little a flower here, or you could call that apostrophe or a, you know, anyway. So I use those and then learn to draw maybe people, simple people, and emotions. And I think that's kind of it. So tools to help you in taking visual notes. Now I'm going to go back. Anybody want to share one of their pages? Like I say, I would then come back. Let's see, Beth. Okay, that
Be
looks
following
pretty good.
along.
Yeah, you followed along well. And what I could do then is go back to that page, and if I have another tool, like a gray marker or a highlighter, I can add color and even punch the sketches out more. There's my timer saying my time's up. So here's what I'd challenge you to do. Here's your call to action. Are you ready? I hope you're committed. I want you to sketch note. Let's see, how hard should I make this? I want you to sketch note at least one of the sessions that you attend here at CPSI. Is that fair?
Can we add something to that? A request for that?
Yeah.
Will you share those tip sheets that you had?
I have, yeah, this was a condensed version of a larger presentation, and I'll share the whole presentation. It gets way deeper into what, you know, you're going to do at a beginner level, but it'll be fun for you to have.
Will that be on Sked?
I don't know. How do you want me?
If you can put it on Sked, do. If you can't, email it to me and we will make sure that it gets on Sked.
Okay, I'll email it to you, Beth, and then I'm thinking if I have your email. I think I do. I have Missy's email.
I am putting it in right now.
Okay, so I'll send it to you and everybody can. So happy sketchnoting, everybody.
Thank you.
Your brains are going to be expanded.
Oh, thank you so much. That was awesome. If there is time, our three presenters, if you can hang out for a couple more minutes, if anybody has a question, I know I saw one for Aaron about eliminate, and Leo did add some stuff, but I'm gonna scroll back in chat 150 years to see. Nope, so I'm only 3 years back. So scrolling back about, I know Leo answered some stuff, but it was, can you share some more about eliminate?
Well, that's one of my favorite techniques in order to get myself out of my own personal cliches, my own successes, or my competencies. You know, we have all of these successes that anchor us, make us feel grounded, but usually they also hinder us, as anchors do, hinder us from moving forward, right? So when we start challenging our biggest successes, whether it's our products or our own competencies, and you say, what if I can't rely on that biggest thing? What if I eliminate that from my bag of tricks? Then it makes you think again. Then it sparks the curiosity that we spoke of, and you start asking, okay, if I can't rely on that, what do I do now? And that applies on a personal level, but it applies on an organization level as well. So that's I think there are a lot of examples out there as to great innovations, whether it's today or the past, brought about by people saying, you know what, I'm just going to eliminate that cliche, that law, that rule. So there.
We at CEF have something 100% stolen from The Office, addition by subtraction.
Yeah.
Good.
Anybody have any other questions? I know everybody wants to see your stuff, Paul, so we'll share that in Sked. You can find from his session on Sked. Sari has us all like jazzed. If you need to run off, don't forget to show up at 7:00 Eastern tonight for the book review. I've got all my books sitting in the corner with my guard dog, Wednesday, who's out for the count. But we're very excited because we've got fantastic people coming for that. Thank you, Aaron and Sari and Paul. And if there's any questions, please hang out for a couple minutes. What happens during the book review? There are about 10 books. Each person is going to talk for a couple minutes They're going to be like 5 minutes of each. They are going to be recorded and rebroadcast and available eventually on the CEF website. Anything else? Oh, and Aaron shared his worksheet there in chat. But other than that, thank you all for coming to our opening and our pre-conference. It's a delight to see you. And now, same link for this as for book chat. So whatever link got you here, it'll get you here for book chat. Use the same map. Thank you, Pascal. Thank you, Mark. I love you, gentlemen. So much fun.
We love you, Beth. Thank you.
Mwah.
And we'll stop recording at this point.
We'll stop recording. Thank you.